Today's class will start seated. So go ahead and find your way to your mat or to a chair. I'm going to sit up on a bolster. I like to have a little something to sit up on. It's just comfier. Doesn't matter if you have your legs crossed here, or if you have your legs outstretched. Just find some kind of comfortable position to sit in here, taking all the little adjustments you need, and then settling on in. You can bring your hands to your knees or your thighs or wherever they comfortably land. You might choose the mudra, chin mudra or gyan mudra today by joining the tips of the pointer fingers and thumbs, and then extending the other 3 fingers. And another choice is up to you, whether you have your palms face up or palms face down. You can even get a little fancy and do one up and one down. It's up to you. So try it out a little bit and see what feels right. This is the wisdom lock or mudra hand position here. So some say with the palms down, you're more so turning inward to inner knowledge and knowing. Some say that when the palms are up, it's kind of a gesture of opening up to the wisdom of the world, the spirit, whatever else is out there in your beliefs. So maybe closing your eyes here. Starting to take a little scan. Scanning your physical body in no particular order now, just looking inward at each of the major muscle groups and joints. And taking a little scan of your energy. What's your energy today? And a quick check-in to see if there are any emotions present or any emotions that have been present throughout the day. Just taking a moment now to reflect. Then we'll start to follow the flow breath here. So inhaling, drawing the air down to the lowest parts of your lungs, letting your belly expand. We're imagining we're expanding in all directions here. So breathing in, belly expands, and exhale, just softening back into this moment. Go ahead and breathe like that for a few more rounds. Breathing in and out through your nose if it's available. I'm just becoming curious here if thoughts or anything pops up. Just noticing, coming right back to the breath to the best of your ability. Let your belly soften even more, taking up more space with the inhales in all directions, expansion. And exhaling. And at the bottom of your exhale, just kind of squeezing a little extra air out. Taking a nice soft inhale like you were already doing. Going a few last rounds. And if you'd like to set a dedication or intention, now is a great time to bring something or someone to mind. And then let's take 3 clearing breaths together. Inhale through your nose and pause for a moment or 2 at the top. Open mouth, exhale, sigh when you're ready. 2 more just like that. Go right ahead. Go ahead and let your chin sink down toward the center of your chest. Release your hands from that mudra, maybe shaking your hands out for a moment or just placing them back on your legs. Chin coming down toward your chest, bringing your shoulders down and away, feeling into the back of the neck. And then start to roll your head over so the right ear is toward your right shoulder. And then we'll dip right back down to the center before heading over to the left side. Go ahead and do that a few times, taking enough time so you're really feeling what's there all the way across. And if it feels interesting to you, you might pause on one side for a while. So maybe if you're on the right side, possibly extending your left arm out toward the left side and just kind of swirling your hand around and noticing how that might affect what you're feeling through that left side of your neck. Switching sides, going at your own pace here. If you want to explore that swirling of the hand now on the other side, you sure can. And bringing your chin back down toward the center of your chest. With an inhale, start to turn your face all the way up toward the ceiling, sticking your chin out just a little bit at the top so you feel a nice stretch on the jaw and throat. And then exhale, bring your chin back down toward the center of your chest. Do that 2 more times. Inhale as you turn your gaze up. Exhale, back down. On your last round, inhale to look up, but then on your exhale, just come back to neutral. Good. Let's inhale and look to the left. The rest of the body is still, just the neck moving here. And exhale to the right. Inhale all the way over to the left. Exhale all the way over to the right. One last time. Inhale left. And exhale right. All right. Let's straighten the legs now. So if you're sitting up on something, maybe it's a good time to come down off of that something. You're always in charge of that. So we'll bend the left knee, straighten that right leg out, and we'll take a little twist toward the left or toward that bent knee. So the right hand can come to the left knee. Use your left hand to help prop you up, sitting up nice and tall here. Before you even think about twisting anymore, just start to notice the inner line of that right leg. You're feeling some stretch happening there. And take a breath in. With your exhale, twisting just a hint more toward the left, gazing over that left shoulder. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Try not to be forceful about it. And we're going to add on a little bit of movement here. So we're going to stay in our twist, take a breath in, looking toward that left shoulder. With your exhale, turn just your gaze toward the right. See how that feels. We're going back, inhale, twisting back to the left with the neck. Exhale, just the head turning to the right. One last time, inhale, left. And exhale, right. Come back to neutral as you unwind. Let's take a little side bend toward our extended leg. So just sliding your right hand down to a comfortable spot to hold on to. Sometimes it's nice to kind of tuck your right hand underneath your calf. If you can comfortably reach your foot, maybe grabbing for the big toe. We're just kind of holding on wherever you can comfortably reach. You can always bend your right knee a little bit too if that helps you grab on to your foot and that feels good. We're gonna lift that left arm up toward the left side. So we're kind of doing an upward twist here first. Feel some expansion and length through the spine as you inhale. And then with an exhale, side bending toward that right foot, reaching your left arm up and over. Just kind of pointing the left fingers toward your right foot. Breathe here. If it's hard to breathe, maybe you're pushing a little too far. And just kind of opening up toward the ceiling, opening that armpit up a bit more. Just have about one more breath here. And coming back up to center, take a breath in with arms overhead. And exhale, lower down. Let's switch legs here, bending the right knee, straightening the left leg. We'll find our twist toward the right now. So left hand coming across to the right knee, right hand helping you sit up nice and tall. Pausing right here before twisting anymore. Notice the inner line of that left leg. Can you feel anything happening there? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And we'll take a breath in here to lengthen upwards. And exhale, twist just a little bit more toward the right, gazing toward the right shoulder. Breathing here. Staying in your twist. Then we'll add on the movement of the head. So with your inhale, gazing toward the left shoulder. Exhaling back to the right. 2 more times. Inhale, just the head, turning toward the left. And exhale, back to the right. 1 more time. Go ahead. And come back to center. Unwind. Sometimes it's nice to take just like a mini counter twist. So maybe you're turning in the other direction for just 1 second. And we'll move into our side bend. So grabbing hold of the left leg, the left foot, however you'd like. Open that right arm up toward the sky, upward twist. We're looking toward the right hand if it's comfortable. Take a breath in, lengthening upwards, really a buoyant feeling. And exhale, side bend toward the left, arching that right arm over, pointing your fingertips toward the left foot. Keep breathing here as you continue opening that right armpit up toward the sky. And just 1 more breath in and breath out. With an inhale, rise back up with both arms lifting. And exhale, lower down. All right, so let's come to hands and knees next. We'll do a little cat and cow here. So you can always bring some extra cushioning under your knees or the hands. Spreading the fingertips out. And nice active hands here. With your inhale, start to lower your belly, lift your gaze and your tailbone, cow pose. And when your exhale comes, start to round up through your spine, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone, pressing the floor away. Cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Keep flowing with your breath now. Inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. And when you feel that you've had enough, go ahead and find your way to extended child's pose with your knees out wide and big toes touching behind you. Sinking your seat toward your heels. Maybe finding your way to your forearms or walking your hands out toward the top of your mat and then sinking your head and heart down toward the floor. Find some belly breaths when you arrive. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths. And when you're ready, let's rise back up to tabletop. We'll grab our blocks and head to downward dog when you're ready. So blocks underneath the hands. We're curling those toes under, starting to straighten your legs. Find your breath here first. Make sure that's at the top of your mind. Press your hands into the floor or blocks so much that you start reaching through your shoulders. Option to find some movement here, bending and straightening opposite knees. You might kind of exaggerate this movement by, let's say, really bending into the right knee, almost kind of twisting the right knee toward the left. And then switching, bending the left knee, really twisting it over. Keep going however you'd like. And finding stillness for at least 2 breaths at the end, which maybe is soon. Softening your facial features. And then bend both of your knees, look up toward the top of your mat, and then step or walk your way to the top for our ragdoll forward fold. Feet can stay wherever they've landed, or you might toe heel your feet out wide for some extra space. Letting your upper body be kind of loose here. You might sway a little bit or bend and straighten opposite knees again. One more breath in. One more breath out. Start to bend your knees a lot. We're going to do something a little bit different here. So knees are bent, so you're almost like creating a shelf for your upper body. Maybe you can get the sense of that. We're going to reach the arms back behind us, almost like airplane arms in a way. And then we're going to rise up to chair pose. So keep the bend of your legs, sweep your hands down, forward, and up. Take an inhale as you stand all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take a couple of breaths here. Just notice how it felt to rise up in that way. If you're feeling any lightheadedness at all, maybe tucking your chin a bit extra or finding a little bit of a bounce through your body right away. Otherwise, let's be here in stillness for about another breath. And we'll take a clearing breath now, inhaling through your nose and sighing it out. Go ahead and blink your eyes open if they were closed. We'll find a little bit of a shake here, so just kind of shaking things out, shaking out the shoulders and the arms. Maybe lifting and lowering your heels a couple times, getting that nice deep bounce through all the tissues of the body. Maybe a little jump or a dance. Just follow your heart here with some movement, getting the circulation going. It's very effective, I think. Okay, come on up to the top of your mat. We'll find a little bit of a flow here. With our inhale, let's reach hands overhead, coming to a gentle back bend. So we're just reaching up and back slightly. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. We're hinging at the hips with the arms out wide and eventually letting the hands come down toward the floor or blocks. Inhale, halfway lift, hands slide all the way up to the thighs, straight spine. And exhale, hands come down to the mat. Let's step the right foot back only and then lower your right knee down right away. With an inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Finding just a little back bend here too. So we're kind of pressing the hips forward as we reach up. So instead of thinking of just bending backwards, we're kind of lifting up and back. One more breath in, and then breath out. Hands come down to the blocks. Breathe like normal here as you step your left foot back to meet your right, ending up in your version of plank, knees lifted or lowered. Let's take 3 breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. One last breath in, feeling the warming of your body. And then exhale, knees lower, chest lowers all the way down. Take a breath or two as you set up for baby cobra, pressing the tops of your feet down a lot, sliding your hands back down toward your lower rib cage if your wrists will allow, and hug your elbows in toward your sides so you feel your shoulder blades really hugged together behind you. With your inhale, lifting head and heart, baby cobra. Option to stay here for 3 breaths or exhale and lower down. Flow with it. Just 2 more breaths. Inhale as you rise or staying lifted. Exhale. Do your thing. We just have 1 more breath wherever you choose to be. And with your exhale, lower all the way down, maybe touching your forehead to the floor. Take a big breath in and a sighing breath out. Inhale, press your way up to tabletop. And exhale, child's pose, your version. 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 1 more breath here, in and out. Inhale, rise up, tabletop, grabbing your blocks if you want to use them for downward dog, and eventually waiting for your exhale to come, and then transitioning there, downward dog. So have 3 breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more breath in and out. Inhale, bend your knees, look up toward the top of your mat. Exhale and step just your right foot toward the top. As far as you can, lower your left knee down here right away. With an inhale, rise up. Lifting hands overhead. Finding just a little back bend here. Keep breathing. So sending the hips forward. And we're lifting and reaching back a little bit. 1 more breath in. And breath out. Lower hands down to blocks or the floor. I like to be on the highest setting of the blocks here. It's always up to you. Curl your left toes under, pick up your left knee, and then step your left foot to the top of your mat. Forward fold at the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending deeply through your knees. Sweep your arms back behind you. With an inhale, rise up to chair pose. That's what it's called. So knees stay deeply bent here as the arms reach forward. Exhale here, chair pose. Inhale, stand all the way up, joining hands overhead. Exhale, hands come to your heart center. Spend a couple of breaths and a couple of moments here, bringing your body back into balance, checking in, remembering your intention if you set one. Let's take a big breath in and sigh it out. Go ahead and blink your eyes open if they were closed. We can bring our hands down by our sides. Let's toe heel the feet out just a little bit. So they're more like shoulder width distance apart for now. We're going to step just the right foot back, straight back, and then turn just enough so your right heel can touch the floor. So it's not going to be the full warrior 2 foot here. It's going to be a warrior 1 foot. So that means that the toes are slightly forward, still on that back foot. We're going to square the hips to the front of your space. You might need to do some readjusting here, maybe shortening your stance or lengthening your stance as we go. So hips pointing toward the top edge of your mat, bending into that left knee here. With an inhale, lifting arms overhead. Exhale, cactus or goalpost your arms, feeling a sense of strength here. Inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, arms goalpost, elbows bend. One more time, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, goalpost the arms. One last breath in, reaching high. Exhale, fold over that front leg, bringing your hands to blocks or the floor, and then step your right foot to the top to meet your left. Bend deeply through your knees. With an inhale, let's rise to chair pose. Arms sweep forward and up, sitting deep into that chair. Exhale here. Inhale, press your way all the way up to stand. Join hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Checking back in with yourself for a moment. Are you still present? How's your breath? And taking a clearing breath as you're ready, in through your nose. And a big sigh to release. Now we'll step just the left foot back, again finding that warrior 1 type of footing with the left toes just turned in enough so your heel can touch the floor here. Right foot up near the top of your mat. Bend into your right knee a little bit here. You might toe heel the right foot forward if it's not quite enough space. Find the hip bones. See if you can square them to the front of your mat. With an inhale, reach your hands up and overhead. We're going to switch it up this time. With your exhale, find a little arrow pose variation. So we're going to sweep the arms back while the head reaches forward. Shoulder blades hugging together. Inhale, rise back up, keeping that right knee bent, but hands reach high. Exhale, arrow, pose, arms sweep back, head forward. One last time, inhale, hands lift. And exhale, arrow. Release your hands down to the blocks or the floor and step your left foot to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. One last chair pose. Let's bend the knees. Inhale, rising up, chair pose. Exhale here. Inhale, press your way up, joining hands overhead. Exhale, hands come down to heart. Samastitihi, equal standing pose once again. Tuning inward for a moment of stillness. And a clearing breath now together, in through the nose. And a sigh to release. Blinking your eyes open if they were closed. We're going to get in place to do a little bit of balancing, and today we will use a wall or something that's at least like maybe counter height, or the back of a couch could work. We want to stand. This is going to vary for everybody, so we're basically going to end up in, it's called warrior 3, with the hands reaching out in front of us and one of the legs back. So just kind of guess where your hands might reach. You can always adjust any time. It's actually a little farther than I would have thought. It's like if you just bend forward You know, you know. So we're going to shift all the weight over to the right foot first. Hands wherever you want them to be. Let's see if we can start to find a one-legged mountain pose with your left knee lifting. Toes could stay connected to the floor as you get your balance. Maybe you pick up the left toes, keeping them close to the floor for support anytime. Or think about lifting your left knee all the way up to about hip height. Let's take a breath in as we sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, airplane pose. So the left leg sweeps back, the arms sweep back for a second. With your inhale, reach your hands up and overhead. See if you can touch the wall with your fingertips or your palms as you continue to extend that left leg back behind you. See about squaring your hips down toward your mat or down toward the floor so that left hip isn't lifting too much. You choose how long you stay here. See if you can create just a little more length between the fingertips and your left toes. At some point, start to come back up. See if you can come to one-legged mountain pose. Ooh, that was hard. And then set that foot down. Shake out anything that needs a little shake. And then we'll switch sides. I think this one just feels so spacious and fun. Hope you're finding it to be like that as well. Shifting the weight to the left foot now. One-legged mountain pose with the right knee lifting some amount. Take a few breaths as you find your balance here. You always have the option to stay here and bypass that warrior three. When you're ready, take an inhale, arms sweep high. Exhale, airplane pose, right leg sweeps back, arms sweep back just for a moment. And when you find your next inhale, reach your hands up and overhead in the direction of the wall. Hopefully you can reach it and extend your whole body so the right toes are reaching back just as far as they comfortably can. Breathe here and remember that if you're feeling a little wobble, that's just energy awakening in your body. You are strengthening, you are finding new edges. Let's see if we can stay here maybe a breath or two more. And whenever you're ready, see if you can kind of press off of the wall and catch yourself coming back to one-legged mountain pose. Whew. And then set that foot down. Give it a little shake when you're ready. That made me very warm. Feels good. All right, we're gonna come to a wall. Hopefully you're already there. We're gonna do legs up the wall next. If there are any little movements or poses you want to take before we're heading toward the floor, you sure can. Option to place a little extra cushioning next to your wall. If you haven't done legs up the wall before, we're just gonna kind of lay down with the legs literally up on the wall. So making your way to a wall. We'll have one of the hips. We're just going to sit as close as we can toward the wall. So I'm sitting with my left hip as close as possible here. And then we're just going to kind of lean back to the forearms, swing those legs up toward the wall. You can have a couple of inches between your seat and the wall if you like, or get really close. You can kind of work your way a little closer or a little farther away. However you can, just kind of scooting. And I like to have at least a little bend in my knees here. Sometimes it feels like too much to have my knees all the way straight. So you can bend your knees anytime you like, or just keep that micro bend. If you have high blood pressure, glaucoma, or any kind of condition that might cause you to feel uncomfortable, with the legs up high. You can always bring your bent knees and your legs onto a chair or onto a couch. Feels super nice. Letting your arms explore and find position or two that they feel nice in. Sometimes it's nice to goalpost the arms, reaching them to the sides and overhead. Sometimes it's nice to interlace the fingers and rest your head in your hands. So this pose is really helpful in circulation, promoting circulation. It also has a pretty strong reputation for helping people sleep. So if you ever get up in the middle of the night, you just can't sleep, or even if you don't get out of your bed and you have a wall close by, maybe you can just throw those legs up the wall for a little bit. Slows the heart rate down. And many people have reported that it works very well. I tend to sleep really good at night, so I haven't had to use that trick. Lucky me. And if your legs or feet start feeling like they're falling asleep or anything, you can always bend your knees or give them a little wiggle. Otherwise, just keep enjoying one of these yoga poses where we're just being. Welcome to stay just as you are, or experiment with widening the feet out, coming to some kind of a V shape. You might slowly walk the heels out. You don't have to go as far as you can, but you just might enjoy that V shape. Sometimes I like to kind of prop my hands up so they're kind of pressing my thighs, so I feel like I'm not gonna accidentally go too far. If you don't like this pose, you can just go right back or find a variation that does feel interesting to you. We'll take about 5 more breaths in this variation. And our next variation, if you choose to take it, will be walking your feet in and then pressing into kind of a squat position. So bending your knees. I like to have my feet kind of out wide. You can always kind of tailor this to you. Sometimes it feels nice to have the thighs and the knees kind of together, pressing the feet into the wall. Again, I think it's nicer for my body to have my knees out wide. I again like to have my upper arms pressing into the floor and then elbows bent so my hands now are supporting my thighs or knees. Just feels safer to my body. And there are lots of little lymph nodes here where we're kind of squishing. So this can be a good way to get the lymph system moving. It's a system that doesn't necessarily pump itself, but we need to be moving in order to get the lymph flowing. So this is a good one for pressure there. Let's have 5 more breaths. You're welcome to stay here if this is just hitting the spot, or join me in coming into a twist here. So for many people, it'll be a little bit more comfortable to kind of walk your shoulders out away from the wall a bit more. You can kind of figure that out as you go. Bring the hands out wide here, and then start to walk your feet over toward the left, just stopping where you feel a nice amount of twist, while still keeping that right shoulder blade and right arm on the floor. If you have any props close by, maybe you prop up your knees so they're in a supported twist. And option to turn your head toward the right side, opposite the knees. Try to be in this twist with the least amount of effort required. And switching sides whenever you're ready, turning your gaze up towards center, and taking baby steps with your feet, taking kind of a long journey to get to the other side. Bringing any props with if you want to prop your knees back up, eventually finding your twist. Baby steps. And as you arrive, notice if it feels interesting to turn your head in the opposite direction or the left. Once more, consider the ways to make this pose just take the least amount of effort possible. Just about one more breath. We're going to turn onto the right side and press your way off of the wall here. We're going to come down to the yoga mat here. We'll find our final rest position. So if you want any extra props, a little something under your knees or a pillow under your head, now's your time to get cozy and comfy as you set up. Maybe finding Shavasana, corpse pose with your arms and legs outstretched. Of course, take as many detours to get there as you want. Maybe finding any less poses or movements, if there are any left that your body's asking you for. You can always keep your knees extra bent here, finding that constructive rest pose with the feet out wide and then the knees coming together to touch at the center. As you settle back in, once again, take a little body scan. Noticing anything that may have shifted through your practice today. How is your energy now? And reflecting once again on the emotions present through your day, just noticing how you're feeling now. Same, different. And for now, just letting all of that kind of drift away as you enjoy some peace, cultivating a sense of peace here through stillness. resting your body and your mind. Letting the space between your eyebrows expand, soften throughout your whole face, head, neck, shoulders, arms softening, torso relaxed, the right hip, the left hip, both legs and feet, whole body restful, whole mind restful. Just a few minutes here, surrendering to rest. Just letting go a little more and a little more. Letting go even more. You notice thoughts arising or tension building. Consider it a win that you've noticed. And possibly invite that tension to soften again. You deserve your rest. And you are welcome to stay here and continue resting as long as you'd like. Eventually, when you're ready to reawaken, just gently bringing in just some tiny little movements, maybe in the fingers and toes. And continuing to move in slightly bigger waves. Maybe heading into a long body stretch. And eventually choosing a side and rolling into the fetal position with your knees slightly tucked in. Taking one full round of breath here. Using the help of your hands and arms, press your way up to a comfortable seat. We'll join hands in front of the heart center. Lengthen through the back of your neck with just a micro tuck of your chin. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace in our actions, peace in our words, peace in our thoughts. Bringing thumbs up to third eye center. If it feels right to you, let's take a little bow forward to close our practice together. Peace.